jump on in. Today, we're going to speak about the Gadya, based on the parish of the Vilna Gaon. In order to appreciate what is happening in the Gadya, I'm going to give you guys a little introduction over here. Basically, the Gemara tells us in Pesachim that if a person will remove his chametz on the 14th, which is called, the Torah refers to the 14th of Nisan as Yom Rishon. It says, Tashbishu your chametz b'Yom Rishon. B'Yom Rishon tashbishu the chametz. And it says, if we remove the chametz from our houses on Yom Rishon, then Hashem will kill, he will overcome for us the Rishon. Who's the Rishon? The Rishon is Esav. So you see from the Gemara, there's a certain direct relationship between Esav and Pesach, that if we keep Pesach properly and remove our chametz, we will remove the power of Esav and we will have a proper gula. Okay. So what exactly is the relationship between Pesach and Esav? That's what we need to understand first, in order to understand what the Vilna Gaon is talking about in this whole story. You guys got it? Pesach and Esav. What's the connection between Pesach and Esav? So the Vilna Gaon explains, this is the Maharal, the Maharal, they explain that really,
the Maharal is a legend.
The Maharal, he's the man. The Maharal, he's a man. Without him, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, without the Maharal, without the Ramchal and the Maharal. Okay, so the Maharal explains that Klal Yisrael got the schus to be Klal Yisrael because of the brachos that Yaakov got from Yitzchak. We know the famous story that Yitzchak gave Yaakov the brachos, and he kind of took them from Esav. Yaakov maybe not was going to give them to Esav, and Yitzchak told Yaakov to bring him shtei gidim. Now these brachos are very, very significant. What is the bracha? What are the significance of these brachos that Yitzchak gave Yaakov? Okay, so if you look at these brachos, Chazal explain, there's actually 10 brachos there. V'yitein lecha Elokim Tal Shemayim U'Shmani Aretz. If you go through all of them, you'll find 10 different brachos. And the Meforshim explain that these 10 brachos were actually the schus to recreate the world. We spoke about yesterday, for those who weren't here, we explained that Pesach itself is a recreation of a new world. In a way, the Klal Yisrael will be at the center and the world will be able to come to its proper completion after it was messed up by the first man. These brachas, the schus, Avram got these brachas from God, gave them to Yitzchak, and Yitzchak gave them to Yaakov, and that will be the schus to produce a Klal Yisrael which have the brachas to make a new world. That's why it's 10 brachas connected to the 10 statements of creation. You guys understand what I'm saying so far? Yeah? We're good so far?
Yes, Rav. All
right. So the Vilna Gaon so that's when did Yitzchak give these brachos to Yaakov? It was on Pesach night. That's what Chazal explained. It was on Pesach night. And that's the reason why he told Yaakov to bring him shtei izim. He told him to bring him 2 goats. And Chazal asked, why 2 goats? It says one was for the carbon Pesach and one was for the carbon Chagiga. Now what in the world is the connection between the carbon Pesach and these brachas? Right? So according to what we told you last night, it's very understandable. It's the same concept because the carbon Pesach, that's the way that we connect to the new world. Yesterday we explained that Hashem's making a new world that can connect between God and this world. He's the Rashis and everything has to connect. So the carbon Pesach, that's the kli, that's the way that we connect to the new world. You guys understand who were here yesterday? You guys understand what I'm saying? So the brachas and the carbon Pesach go hand in hand because the carbon Pesach only has a meaning if you're the one that got the brachas. Because since we got the brachas to make this new world, therefore, now we use the carbon Pesach to connect to that. But it's all in the schus of our commitment to make the carbon Pesach. Since we're the ones who have the carbon Pesach, we're committing to stand as being extensions of Hashem into this world, therefore we deserve the brachos. You guys understand what I'm saying? So Yaakov brought the carbon Pesach to Yitzchak, who shefted it for them. And that was very much connected with the brachos. Okay? Now, what we need to understand, this is where the Vilna Gaon comes in, is that in order to get these brachos, really, the brachos in a certain quality should have gone to Esav, because he was the firstborn. He was the first one. Esav came out first, and Yaakov came out second, holding on to his ankle. Now, Chazal explained this is like the fruit and its peel. The peel, you see the peel first, and the fruit comes out afterwards. In any case, from a certain quality, Esav did have a certain quality of connection, potential to get these brachas. Okay, Yaakov took them, but the Vilna Gaon explains that to the extent that Klal Yisrael is not living up to their potential properly, so the power goes back to Esav again. Okay, because it's not intrinsically by Klal Yisrael, but it's only coming through these brachas, they didn't have to go to them. Therefore, to the extent that Klal Yisrael do not stand up to their potential and they act like Esav, then the power goes back to Esav again. That's what happens. And they lose the power, and it goes back out to the nations of the world, to Esav particularly. It could be, if we have time after we go through the whole Haggadah, I'll explain more of the direct connection between Esav and the Chametz, perhaps. Right now, I want to get through the basic concept of the Haggadah. You guys with me so far?
Yeah.
I see some thumbs there. James, you're with us a little bit. I know you weren't here yesterday. That's all we could do. Yeah? Nady, you here at least? I don't want to cause any crashes.
I'm with you.
Okay. Okay, so listen carefully. So what's this idea of the Haggadah? So the Vilna Gaon explains that the Haggadah, this whole song Haggadah, that's explaining the real source of Pesach itself. The whole source of Pesach and our ability to receive from Pesach all goes back to this first Gadya. Gadya is a Gedi, the first goat that Yitzchak brought as a carbon Pesach, which was associated with the brachos that he wanted to give to Yaakov. Because every Pesach, right, we reconnect to these brachos. That's the bottom line. That's the idea. Every year on Pesach, we reconnect to this special bracha to be part, to have our connection with the new world, which comes through the carbon Pesach. Where do we get this chus from that? We ultimately got this chus from that from the brachos that Yaakov got from Yitzchak. And to the extent that we can accept these brachos properly, we get a new Pesach every year. And we think it keeps going further. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah, we're good? Okay. So Haggadah. Why does it double it? And then it says, what does it say? Dazab Abba Bitre Zuze. So this is a very nice support for there's many different ways to understand the song. This is a very simple support for the Vilna Gaon over here in his way of understanding. What does it mean, Dazab Abba Bitre Zuze? So we know that Yaakov, he bought the Bechor from Esav. Esav sold him the Bechor. Again, the significance of the carbon Pesach is really the Bechor. B'nai Bechor Yisrael. The Bechor is supposed to get these brachas, right? So how much did he said he sold it? The Torah tells us he bought it for lechem in nazid, the adashim and bread. So that's connected. This bread and the adashim are these, the lentils and the bread. That's connected to zuz. That's how much they cost. So he bought. What does it mean? He bought the goat. Not that he actually bought the goat for 2 zuz, but what it represented. The goat represents the brachas. So he brought the goat, which is the brachas, for 2 zuz. He bought the brachas from Esav, the Bechor. He bought the Bechor from Esav for 2 zuz. And the carbon Pesach represents our being Hashem's Bechor. So that's the Bechor. You understand what I'm saying? Right, therefore, the Zabanaba Bitre Zuze, Haggadah. And the idea of Haggadah repeated, it would seem to be that it's Haggadah that Yaakov got the brachas initially, and that same goat that gave Yaakov the brachas initially also goes for all generations. It's the same one. It keeps going. It all goes back to that. So our whole story of Pesach, when it started with Yaakov and the whole creation of Klal Yisrael, for all the generations, every Pesach goes back to connect to the power of that original goat that Yaakov brought when Yitzchak gave Yaakov the brachas. So that's why it says Haggadah. And what did that go back to? That itself came, the potential for that carbon Pesach, that itself came from the fact that Yaakov bought the brachas, brought the Bechor, the firstborn ship, from Esav for 2 zuz. Got it? Yes? Everybody's very quiet.
No, I got you.
Okay, you guys. Okay.
With you, Rav. We're with you.
You're with you. Okay. What's up with the cat? Now it says like this. V'asa shunra, v'achla Gadya. The cat, how did the cat eat the goat? What does this mean? So the Vilna Gaon says, again, this is just a beautiful thing the Vilna Gaon says. He says that we know if you look at the brachas that Yaakov gave to his children, you'll notice that none of the brachas actually say the word Baruch except for Yosef's bracha. It says Birchos Avosav L'Rosh Yosef, something like that. The bracha of the fathers goes to the head of Yosef, which means to say that really the brachas primarily went to Yosef. Yosef, the name Yosef itself is Lashon of Lasof, which means to gather everybody together. So Yosef's job was supposed to gather everybody together. He was supposed to be like the head, and he was going to gather all the tribes. And the brachas of the fathers, this whole bracha of creating the new world of the Bechor, was supposed to go through him, right? So he gave Yosef. Reuben lost it. It could have potentially gone to Reuben. Reuben lost it. It went to Yosef in the end, right? So Yosef now represents the carbon Pesach because he's the one holding these brachas. He's the one holding this firstbornship, these brachas. You got it? the Shunra, the Vilna Gaon says that a cat, I'm not an animal behavior professional, I don't know, but the Vilna Gaon says the cats are known to be, they represent jealousy. So he says the cat represents the jealousy of the brothers. Now the truth is, the jealousy of the brothers, that actually is associated with Esav itself, because Esav himself has a lot to do with lack of Emunah. Lack of Emunah, which is the cause of Vilna Gaon. I told you maybe in a different class or maybe not, but the Vilna Gaon explains that jealousy and baseless hatred really comes from a lack of Emunah. That you're afraid, people are taking over and God's not watching carefully enough. So that leads to jealousy. So he's taking your stuff, right? So that itself, the brothers over there, they kind of showed they were connected to Esav, and they did not connect enough to what the Jewish people were supposed to represent through the sinas chinam and the jealousy, and therefore they ate the sheep, they ate the goats. It means they ate Yosef. It means to say they sold Yosef, right? That kind of ate the brachas. So since they sold Yosef, they completely lost the schus to get these brachas, because here was Yosef, he represented the brachas, and they just sold him. So he's gone. So they lost the brachas now. You understand? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happened? So that's what it says, that the goat came and ate the cat came and ate the goat. Then it says, we go back again, goes back again every time. And then it says, V'asa kalba v'nashach l'shunra. Now what's the kelev? So the kelev represents Paro. Paro is compared to a kelev. The Vilna Gaon says one reason, I'm going to tell you another reason also. The Vilna Gaon says, because you see the Moshe came and attacked, through God's orders, attacked Paro with a stick. Right? He says, how do you beat up a dog with a stick? If you want to fight a dog, you take a stick and hit the dog over the head. You understand? So therefore, since he used the staff, that shows that Hashem understood that Paro was a dog. There's another idea potentially that you could understand over here. We know that Paro particularly personified lack of a chorus of Tov. When Paro started off at the very, very beginning of Shmos, he said, "Who's Yosef?" Hashem sent Yosef down there. He saved all of Mitzrayim. And Paro says, "Who?" He made himself like he didn't know Yosef, means he didn't have proper chorus of Tov with the Jewish people, who actually saved them completely in the years of the famine. So a dog is actually compared to somebody that takes and doesn't give back. The Gemara in Nedarim, one of the Amoraim got a certain gift from somebody, wanted to give him back to him, and he said, "Am I a dog that takes without giving back?" A dog will take, he doesn't give back. So again, Paro took, he received all the good from the Jewish people, and they saved his whole nation, and here he comes and does this to them. You understand? That's actually the way that it starts off describing Paro. It says, first he says, "Who's Yosef?" And then in the end he says, "Who's Hashem?" That's what Chazal say. He started off saying, "Who's Yosef?" So that represents the dog. So the dog came and he bit the cat, which means the cat now is representing the Jewish people who had this problem with the sinas chinam and the jealousy, right? So the suffering of Mitzrayim, that came and bit the cat, and what's that going to do? That's going to fix them up from their problem. That's going to fix them up from their sinas chinam, because they're suffering, they're going to all come together. This is one of the reasons why we explained that the Korban Pesach itself is a small animal, because it's a behemoth daka, because you hit one part and the whole thing's supposed to quiver. So that itself made a certain quality of unity between the Jewish people to a certain extent. Okay, you guys got it? So the dog came and bit the cat, and that gave a little bit of a kapara and brought them back together. Then it says, "V'asa chutra v'hika l'kalba, the nashach l'shunra, v'achla de Gadya," right? So now the chutra is going to come. What's the chutra? So the chutra, says the Vilna Gaon, is the staff of Moshe. We know the staff of Moshe wasn't just a regular old staff, right? The staff itself actually represented God's direct interaction with this world. Okay, it said on the staff all 10 plagues, and the Maral explains this staff is like a straight line. It's like a vav, and it's a straight line which brings the beginning and the end. So the idea of the staff in this world itself represents conceptually Hashem's direct connection with the world. If you want to personify the concept of Hashem's direct connection in this world, it's called like a staff. So Moshe had the staff that showed Hashem is working, even though Hashem doesn't need anything to personify his direct connection, but the staff had a certain quality of holiness. Chazal tell us, I believe, that the staff itself that Moshe got was the same staff that Yaakov had. It was the same staff that actually Adam Rishon himself used. He went from Adam Rishon to Yaakov, had a little journey over there, and then Moshe got it from where he got it from. You guys understand? So it's a very, very holy staff. What?
Did David HaMelech also get it?
Don't know. It was with the Aron in the Mishkan. So I don't know if he got it, didn't
Oh,
get it. Could be. I never heard that
is
before.
it still hidden with Taron and stuff?
Supposed to be. Supposed to be. That's where it was hidden. That's what it says. I think that's what it says. So as far as I know, it was hidden, lost, laid there. We don't know where it is today. Maybe Mashiach has it in his hands, just waiting next door and waiting to come out with his staff. I don't know.
Didn't we hide it? Didn't we hide it after David Amelech? So it could be, no?
It could be. No, anything could be. We don't know. I don't know. You know,
Could be.
it was supposed to be with the Aron. It was supposed to be with the Aron. I believe they put it with the Aron, as far as I recall. But in any case, we'll see. So that's what the Chutra represents. So the Chutra represents God's direct, we call it Horus Panim, his direct relationship into the world. It came down after the cat got its suffering from the dog. So the Chutra, which represents the staff of Moshe, came down and hit the dog. You guys got it? Okay. Now the next step we have to know, it says the fire came and burned up the staff. Okay, now this song, the Vilna Gaon explains, is actually going through all of Jewish history until today, until Mashiach, until the end. So we're making a big jump now in Jewish history. The staff represented, as I just explained to you, Hashem's direct connection, involvement in the world that you could see. When Hashem's always directing the world, but when you can see it directly, that's called the staff. So we have a little expression of a staff, which shows Hashem's direct connection. Okay, so this direct connection, which began at Yetzias Mitzrayim, it continued through the Nevi'im and until the Beis Hamikdash. It says the Shekhinah came down at Matan Torah. Yeah, it came down and went into the Mishkan. The Mishkan was with the Jews all the year until eventually Shlomo Melech built the Beis Hamikdash and it was in there. Okay, so the next thing it says is came the fire and burned the staff. So the fire, that means the fire of the Yetzer Hara that destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. You understand? That's the fire of the fire that destroyed the Beis Hamikdash over there. So it says after the Gullus, it says the Anshi Knesses Gedola davened that Hashem should take away the Avodah Zarah for Yetzer Hara after the first Gullus, right? It says what happened? A fiery lion jumped out of the Holy of Holies, out of the Kodesh Kodashim, whatever that means, right? And so there's a fiery lion representing, so the Yetzer Hara is represented by a fire. So the fire came and burned the staff, so that represents the Yetzer Hara that burned the staff, so that Klal Yisrael could not hold on to this direct connection with Hashem anymore. You got it? V'yasalamaya, the kiba.
Is it because like the harder the nisayon, the
Well,
easier
what?
it is to the harder the nisayon. If you overpower it, it's easier to get closer to God. Is that the reason why?
When a person overcomes an nisayon, so certainly they have a certain merit to get closer to God for sure.
And since that was like such a hard nisayon, if they were able to conquer it, so they would be very close to God. If
Right. Oh, that's right. I know what you're asking. I know what you're saying. I didn't know. No, I got you right. So they said like this. The Anshi Knesses Gedolah talks about this. Right? It says we don't want the reward, and we don't want the nisayon. It's too strong. They said they can't conquer it. It just got to be too much. It was too much.
But
You know the
Hashem,
story
like,
about they were.
yeah, I guess. Right, fine. No,
So
but
there was. We can go into more details at a different time if you want, but they understood that the nisayon was just too hard, and most people weren't going to make it at all, and even it was just it was just too hard without the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore they decided should leave. And there's a whole story over there. It's not for sure, not for now, but yes, generally if you can overcome it, that's great. But if you can't overcome it, it's a problem. Okay, so it just becomes worse. And so they understood that Klal was always too much. Then it says the Asa Lamaya. Where is it over here? It says. V'yasa right? V'kav l'nura. So the Maya was, says the Vilna Gaon, the water of the Torah. That was the Anshe Knesses Gedolah. The Anshe Knesses Gedolah, they came and they revealed the Torah and they actualized the Torah and they brought it down in a way that people could understand it and could overcome their Yetzer Haras. Right? So that put away the tremendous, fire of the Yetzer. Of course, we still have Yetzer Haras. The Yetzer Hara did not leave. But in any case, the Torah itself gives us an ability to try to deal with it properly. So the Hashem created the Torah Tavlin, and the Anshe Knesses Gedolah with all of their gezeras. They didn't have all these gezeras before the Anshe Knesses. All the gezeras to help us to make sure we're going to be living properly and to set up our day properly with the Shemona Esrei and the learning and everything, everything we have, all the Gemoras and all the Mishnahs. Right, that was all the Anshe Knesses. That's called the water. So the Torah is compared to water. So that put out the fire of the Yetzer Hara and gave us a chance to survive. Okay. Then it says V'asa L'Sora, it came back down the Torah. Now the Torah over here, this is actually a shore. It says V'asa Torah. Torah is not Torah with a hey at the end. It's Torah in Aramaic, which means a shore. Now what's the shore? The shore means ox. The ox came and licked up the water. So who's the ox? The ox is Esav. Right? Esav, he is the final gullus, and basically he stands opposed to the Torah. Esav is connected to the Torah over here, and he makes it that even though we have the Torah, he Esafies us. Right? He Esafies. It makes us not able to relate to the Torah. So that kind of drinks up the water. So the water gets drinking up, and we can't really access the water anymore. Right? Now Esav is actually the antithesis of Yosef. You guys heard about this before? Esav and Yosef are two opposites. They both represent a certain quality of Gevurah. Yeah? And Mashiach ben Yosef, he's the one that's going to take over the Gullus of Edom. He's the one who's supposed to make the downfall of Edom. Yeah, he's the one that's going to make it down. Yeah, exactly. You can see, if you want to see how it's going to look like, Alex is giving us a little bit of a visual over there with his right and left fist. And basically, Mashiach ben Yosef is going to take down Edom. That's going to be his job, basically. Okay? This is going to be happening very soon, it would seem. Okay? So it says over here,
Let's go.
What?
Let's go. I'm hype.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says,
How?
Shochet.
How?
Now, who's the Shochet? Who's the Shochet?
How?
The Shochet, the Vilna Gaon explains, is Mashiach ben Yosef.
Yosef.
Mashiach ben Yosef, he's the Shochet. Okay.
Is it maybe Mashiach ben Yosef right now? Is it
What?
possible? Is it possible that Mashiach ben Yosef is like this whole thing going around right now?
Not that I would understand. It could be a part of the process. It says that it's interesting because it says that everything is going to be, the world's going to be destroyed. It's not destroyed, but Esav is going to take over, and everything is going to be closed down. That's what it seems to say. Everything, Esav is going to take over, and it says the Mashiach ben Yosef is going to arrive, and he's going to make a little army. We're taking a little side tour since it's mamish, literally.
Like a lot of like Rav Nevin saws are like going to go and fight?
What?
Like all the Rav Nevin saws are going to go and fight?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Something like that. Exactly. Something like that. But
Wait, so you were saying?
What's the idea of this Mashiach ben Yosef concept? So there's a relationship between, I'm taking a little sidetrack over here, which will actually eventually help us to get better into the relationship between the Chametz and Esav. Esav and Yisroel have a seesaw type of relationship. To the extent that Klal Yisrael isn't complete, then Esav gets control. So they don't have to make money for their bank account. They just get it by default from our lack of completion. This is the reason that we know that it says that Yaakov saw the different Goluses, okay, and he saw an image of them in the ladder. In Jacob's ladder image, he saw angels go up and down. There's a few different pshatim in there, which could all be true at the same time. But one of the pshatim over there is he saw an image of the four Goluses, and he saw the first three went up and down, and the fourth one didn't come down. You heard about this before?
Yeah, Rob, from you.
Not come down until, and Yaakov got very nervous. He's not coming down. And so Hashem said, and then it says Hashem appeared on him. And Chazal say, he said, don't worry, I'm going to take him down myself. Which means to say Esav has a certain quality which we can't really beat. He's not going to come down. The reason why he's not going to come down is because he can't come down until we're totally complete. And we're just not going to be totally complete. It's just not going to happen so fast. Okay? Now, let's go into this concept of total completion. There's a very interesting idea the Maharal says. Again, we're taking a little side journey from the Gadya now. We're moving into the direct connection between Esav and Chametz. Okay? The Maharal says that Esav comes from the 50th level. Now, what could that possibly, what does it mean that Esav comes from the 50th level? The 50th level.
Rabbi.
Yeah, excellent. But listen carefully, I'm telling you some new things now. The 50th level, that's called the godliness. God was represented always by 50. Yeah.
Umi dom elach, right?
What?
Umi dom elach.
Me dom elach, yeah, exactly. Me.
Nady, that's right.
So always godliness is connected with the 50th level. That's why when we get the Torah, we're going to count 50 days. We'll see, we're going to give you guys a lot of nice shirim, B'ezrat Hashem on this first Omer. Okay? But we're going to count 50 days to get the Torah because the Torah comes directly from God. It connects, it makes this connection. And this is called the Eitz HaChaim. The Eitz HaChaim is coming from the 50th level. Now the idea is like this, listen carefully. To the extent that we cannot connect to godliness properly, then that does not just disappear like we spoke about at Purim time. It turns into Tumah and it goes over to Esav. So Esav represents the idea of our inability to connect to the 50th level. So we're not going to connect to the 50th. We just can't do it. In this world, after the Chet of Adam Rishon, our body is so messed up, it cannot connect to the 50th level so easily. Part of what eating matzah does, it helps us a little bit, right? That's the reason why if we leave the chametz, right, then we're going to get the power, then we're going to be able to kill Esav. Why? What's the connection between chametz and Esav? So the answer is that chametz also, the concept of chametz comes from the 50th level. Why does chametz come from the 50th level? Because the idea is like this. If you take the perfect, we explained before that matzah represents the physical body. You guys remember we talked about that? That matzah, the dough of the matzah represents the physical body. Now the physical body in its most perfected form should be able to relate to godliness. In its most perfected form. We're very far from that. When Adam Rishon was first created, this is actually what's called the hidden light. When Adam Rishon was first created, he was called like the nair of the world. He could just shine godliness in the world through his body also. His body was called the dough of the world, but that itself connected to the 50th level. You guys understand? That's like the perfect body. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Rav, I thought we were fixed up on in the Gullet of Mitzrayim. I thought that was the whole point, that we got fixed up to reconnect.
That's right, but since we left early, because we had to leave early, and so we didn't get the full fix up. So all the future goals is complete. What could have happened there? What just didn't happen. It wasn't going to happen there. It didn't happen there, right? But that's what would have been theoretically needed according to Din to make it work out. We left early through Rachamim. That's why Nisan is a time of Rachamim. Because we left early on Nisan through Rachamim. If we would have stayed the 400 years, which would have been almost impossible, then we would have merited the whole thing in Din. We couldn't do that. We couldn't do it in Din. Just like Adam Rishon didn't make it through straight Din. Welcome, Shit. Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. Just like Adam Rishon couldn't make it through Din, so there was a new creation now through Rachamim. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. It's very important. Okay. But the bottom line is for us right now is that once we understand that the dough, which is made again of water and flour, which represents like the body that's made from the dust of the land and the water, that represents, the dough over here represents a theoretical perfect body. When it comes to its completion, how does it come to its completion? Through lechem, through bread. That's when it's completed through the cooking process. So when it comes to its completion fast enough, then it remains pure. As soon as it doesn't come fast enough to its completion, right, then what happens is chametz starts coming into it. Chametz is like a foreign body which shouldn't be there. It just represents the idea of when something's going bad. When it doesn't work out properly, that's called chametz. You understand what I'm saying? The chametz is not part of the bread. It's a foreign entity, which comes when the bread does not come to proper completion in its most perfect form, because it takes too long, then automatically there's an impurity which comes in, which holds it back from its proper completion. You can't get it anymore. It becomes chametz. It means it can't become pure bread now because there's already chametz mixed into it. So this whole process is why the chametz itself conceptually comes from the 50th level. Because the 50th level requires us to do things we can't really do. It means once you have if you wouldn't have a potential for a 50th level to connect to a 50th level, you wouldn't have chametz. It'd be no problem. Since God placed in the creation an ability for man to connect to the 50th level, we're not going to make it. You understand? Therefore, there's potential for chametz to come in. Now, God did that for us because he wants to give us a real connection with it. If there'd be no potential to connect in this world at all, then you can't get it. It's not relevant, right? But he wants us to get it, and it's really bigger than us. So he gives us all these mitzvahs that help us connect to it. And one of the ways that we are zocheh to make the beginning of that connection is through Pesach, right? And the whole process is represented by the bread process. I'm saying a lot of different things. You got to understand what I'm saying.
Wait, are you saying that chametz is bad?
Chametz is for sure bad. You should know.
So why are we allowed to eat it even during the year?
It's a good question. Now I'm going to give you, I hope I'm going to merit to give you guys a whole class about chametz. This is just a side point to explain to you about what's the connection between chametz and Esav.
Not only do we eat it during the year, we also like sanctify it with challah and whatever.
You got to know.
No, hamatz lechem and aretz, it's going to grow from the trees when Mashiach comes.
That's true. But you should know lechem doesn't necessarily have chametz in it. We say motzi lechem and aretz also a matzah. Doesn't have to have chametz in it. Maybe maybe I'm not getting into that, but it doesn't have to. Lechem is perfectly lechem without chametz in it. Also, they used to make matzah that was like a tefach thick. We do it the way we do it, but even today, Sephardim make it like it's little pitas. You know that?
Right.
Sephardim today they eat pitas. What are you gonna do? That's great. Yeah. So the bottom line is that chametz and the power of Esav come from the same place. They both express the same concept, the concept of our inability to come to proper completion, which means to say connecting to the 50th level, connecting our goof to the 50th level. You guys understand what I'm saying a little bit?
But we can connect to the 50th level. We have the potential to do it.
We for sure have the potential, but we can't actively do it so much. Everything we're doing through the mitzvos is kind of setting us up to do it, and it's kind of making the spiritual planting of things that will eventually do it at Tchias Mesim.
Are the
Yeah.
Gedolim on the
That's why Hashem
50th
is giving
level?
us all this. Well, what?
Are the Gedolim on the 50th level?
No, probably nobody is today. But everybody's got a relative connection is what we can get, but it's not really. It doesn't really come out today so much in the Gullahs. It just doesn't come out like that.
What were you saying?
So everybody's got their connection. And every generation has somebody who's equivalent to Moshe also. We have Rav Chaim today, Baruch Hashem, we have Nevinsal today. But it's not, the 50th level, it's not exactly. But they have some things that are, they're still called relative to Moshe. Everyone's got every generation has their Gadol Ador, which gives special Siyata D'Shmaya, special, direct connection with God. But the 50th level is something which is very direct. We're constantly trying to connect to as much as we can. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the reason. So what does this have to do with Mashiach ben Yosef? So the answer is, the Mashiach ben Yosef, what he represents, Mashiach ben Yosef is the perfect tzaddik. Okay, Yosef himself is alluded to by the word kol, which is Yesod. Kol is gematria 50, right? So Yosef has a special ability to connect the highest level of spirituality down to the physical realm. That's why he was like playing with his payas. That's why he was doing these things, because he has a certain way to make a direct connection between these two extremely different realms. Okay, even in his physical body. Yeah. So Yosef, he represents. Therefore, Yosef has the ability to be Esav, because he can sanctify the physical so much that Esav doesn't have any chance to get any part of that 50th level anymore, because he can do it. You understand what I'm saying? So Yosef himself, he's going to make an army. Mashiach ben Yosef is going to be this perfect tzaddik who's going to be able to connect to the 50th level relatively, relatively to much more than we can do today. That's going to be Mashiach ben Yosef, and he's going to make an army of equivalent tzaddikim. And because they're perfect tzaddikim, right, who are going to be in his army, therefore he'll be able to overthrow Esav, because Esav can't do anything unless there's sins. Unless the people have a problem and they're connected with something that's lacking that 50th connection, then they can have power. As soon as there's going to be an army of complete tzaddikim, we're going to be able to connect through the power of Mashiach ben Yosef to this connection, right? Then Esav is going to be wiped out, and it'll be a physical war, like Alex is trying to show us over there. And
Rav, is it going to be like a nace, like God is going to like?
It's not going to be with the Israeli army.
But don't we say Mashiach ben Yosef?
I know, Rav. Is it going to be like a nace though, that like Hashem's going to like program in their brains that they know how to fight?
So listen, just like again, you guys know my favorite line, which is I'm not in the management. Okay, so I don't know, right? But we do know, just like the Kohanim, at the time of Hanukkah, just like the Kohanim, they went out and fought. They weren't warriors. They weren't soldiers. They went out and fought. They did it. It was fine. You understand?
Isn't Mashiach ben Yosef supposed to die?
That's another story. That's after he wins.
Oh,
It means after he does what he's supposed to do, then there's a mavar. There's a transferal from the times of the downfall of Edom, which is what he's supposed to do, to a new thing called Gog and Magog, which is a new step. And then there's a question over there if he's, what's going to happen.
Is there like a limit to how many people can fight Mashiach ben Yosef with Mashiach ben Yosef?
There definitely is.
How
exactly as many as Hashem says. Whatever Hashem decides, that's the limit. We don't know. We have no idea. Yeah, but whatever Hashem says will be very clear. He's going to make his own private army. It's going to be invitation only. It says when it talks about it, says it's going to take.
Like it's going to come to them in a dream, or like a baskol would come to them.
Something like that. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to come to them individually and take them. He's not going to. They're not going to come to. He's going to pick them, handpicked. It says 2 from this city, 2 from that city, 2 from that city, 1 from this city. It's going to be a very small, select army of big tzaddikim. Now you should know. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something a little bit deeper. There's an interesting chazal. Since you guys are so much Moser Nefesh to even be here with us in the middle of your day, and we're mamish getting to this time, but there's a chazal that says, ask the question, how is it? Yaakov got all these brachas. He got all these wonderful brachas, right? Yaakov got all the brachas from Yitzchak, and you don't see that all these brachas necessarily ever came true so much. You don't see, if you look at Jewish history, there's been, they've had ups and downs. There's been a lot of hard times in Jewish history. We don't see them on top of the world all the time. You guys understand what I'm saying?
When Mashiach comes.
When Mashiach comes. So the answer is that Yaakov, all those brachas that he got to make this new world, okay, to have this list to make this new world, Yaakov put him into a safety deposit box. He put it into long-term investment. And what he did, he saved them. He saved these brachos from Mashiach ben Yosef, because Mashiach ben Yosef is going to need a lot of siyata d'shmai and a lot of merit, because he's going to have to fight a lot of big wars and have a lot of miracles happen for him, right? So all these brachos are waiting till Hashem sent till we get Mashiach ben Yosef. Then he's going to take all these brachos. He's going to do a lot of miracles with all these merit that Yaakov chose to sit into a safety deposit box for many generations. So we're not really using those brachos today. They've been set aside for the next world, which is going to start with Mashiach ben Yosef. You got it?
Yeah.
But these brachot also let us merit the
Okay.
creation of the world, right? The new recreation.
That's right. That's right. We had them a little bit because we got the basic brachos, but it talks about being a lot of extra brachos, a lot of big things over there.
Do we know what's going to happen after the time period of Mashiach?
What?
Do we know what's going to happen after the time period of Mashiach?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh.
I mean, we've had classes about Mashiach, Alex. Remember we talked about it a little bit?
No,
Yeah,
I know.
This is Haggadah, dude.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. We can talk about it a different time if you want.
No, because I heard there's like no prophecies after, right? After the time period. Like
There's a lot of prophecies about the times of Mashiach.
All we know is
There's many prophecies of what's going to happen at the time of Mashiach.
No, after that time.
After Mashiach is Olam Haba. That's what you mean? After the whole process of Mashiach? After the whole time called the Mos Mashiach?
Yes.
No, that's the Chiyas Mason. That's the beginning of Olam Haba, according to Mos Rishonim. That's just that's the beginning of Olam Haba. After Mashiach, the way the Maral says it, he says that the whole time of Mashiach, however long that lasts, it's a segue between this world and the next world. So things slowly get built up, and they, through the mitzvahs, everybody's serving Hashem, and then we'll move on to a higher level of the next world. Got it? Okay. So back to Chad Gadya. In our Chad Gadya story over here, what does it say? It says, V'asa l'shochet v'shacha l'torah. The shochet comes and he shechs the shore. Now, who's the shochet?
Sheikh ben Yosef.
Mashiach ben Yosef. He's the shochet. That's what happens. So the Mashiach ben Yosef is called the shochet. So he's going to come and kill the shore. Okay. Now it says v'yasel malach hamavis v'shacha l'shochet. Right. The malach hamavis. This is what Nader was talking about before. There could be the Gemara in Sukkah seems to say it could be that Mashiach ben Yosef is going to die. Now, why would Mashiach ben Yosef die if he already got sent? What's the idea over there? So the basic concept is like, we're supposed to daven every day. I can't say that I personally do, but I wish I would, but I just always forget until I give a shir about it. I remember maybe 2 or 3 times and I forget again, unfortunately. That's my praise. But the Rizal says that in the bracha of Yerushalayim, we were supposed to have in mind that Mashiach ben Yosef should not die. That's called, Mashiach ben Yosef is called Kisei David. So why is it the Mashiach ben Yosef might yes die, might not die? So the basic idea is, like I told you before, Yosef is the idea of Lasof, gathering everything together. So the concept is, the Mashiach ben Yosef's job, like we said before, he's a perfect tzaddik, and he's supposed to unify everybody together and raise them up to be able to receive Mashiach ben David properly. That's the basic concept. So after the downfall of Esav, Klal Yisrael has to try to move as fast as they can to raise up to that level where they can have some kind of a proper relationship with Mashiach ben Yosef to accept that level, and then they'll be prepared properly for Mashiach ben David. You guys understand what I said? Yeah, you with me? David?
Yep.
Okay, right? So if the Klal Yisrael does not raise up properly to that level, then it could be that Mashiach ben Yosef will die because they weren't zocha to. They didn't not because he did anything wrong, but the people didn't react properly, didn't get raised up, and then there might have to be some more tzaros. There'll be more, unfortunately, more tzaros or whatever they'll have to be, and then Mashiach ben David will come and save the day. So this is what it says at the end. It does not mention Mashiach ben David because he's a pawn in this picture. It says V'yasa Kodesh Baruch Hu v'shachal Malach Hamavis. So it could be the Malach Hamavis is going to come and be shochet the Mashiach ben Yosef, and if he does, it's okay still, because Hashem is going to come and shochet him back. Got it? So that is the story. So it all goes back to this Chad Gadya. It all goes back, meaning all of Jewish history is really revolving around this same Korban Pesach that Yaakov brought at that time. If we're zocha to it, then it'll be by us. If we're not zocha to it, it goes on to back to Esav. So it's explaining the whole Jewish history really revolves around the schus to get this Korban Pesach, which is the schus of the Bechor, which is just we're merited, and we're not, the fire comes and we don't merit it, and the water comes, we do merit it, and the shore comes and we don't merit it, then Mashiach ben Yosef comes, we do merit it, and it goes back and forth, but it's all revolving around this Chad Gadya, this first bracha, which is represented by the Karban Pesach that Yaakov got from Yitzchak. That's the story. Got it?
Gadya, Rav.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Forgot about you. You're so quiet over there. I got more classes coming. You can just hold on for a second. Yeah.
I was just gonna say what's the last thing that God will kill the death angel? When he's gonna kill, what's like the representative of that? The last line. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, what's if Mashiach ben Yosef has to die, then what's the significance of God killing the death angel? Like he was supposed to die. Like that's it. Like what does that accomplish?
Because that means to say that accomplishes it. All of that represents the idea that all of the Ra is going to be removed from the world. Like we said before, you understand? Hashem's going to bring the world to its completion. He's going to do it through Mashiach ben David. But the bottom line is when the Malach HaMavis, who has Satan, it's the Tuma, it's all the bad stuff, right? So he's in charge of these forces of negativity. So it means to say that Hashem is going to come and shecht him, and all the Ra, he's going to take away all the Ra. It's all going to be finished. That's the significance of it.
And
It's an
will
Mashiach ben Yosef.
But will Mashiach ben David still exist, or like he's just never gonna come?
No. It's not focusing on him for whatever reason. It's just not focusing on him. He's just like a pawn in the picture relative to God. Just like who took us out of Mitzrayim? God. Right. We don't look at Moshe. Moshe was part of the very important part of the process, obviously. But God, we don't say this is Moshe who took you out of Mitzrayim. That's what the ones who made the Chid Egel said. God took us out of Mitzrayim. So too over here, It's not relevant. Mashiach ben David isn't so relevant to this particular theme. This theme itself, right, according to the Vilna Gaon, is a theme of the schus of Klal Yisrael. They get it, they lose it, they get it, they get it. That's a Mashiach ben Yosef type of story. The end game in this kind of a story just goes by God. He's going to give it to us anyway. He's going to make it work out. One of the details of how he's going to make it work is Mashiach ben David. But over here we're talking about the Ace of Yisrael story going back and forth. So that story ends with Mashiach ben Yosef. Because Yosef is the opposite of Esav. That's our battle with Esav and Yosef. Mashiach ben David, you should know, he's not really he's Jewish, but he's not really part of Klal Yisrael on a certain level. He's a different level. He's the next step. He's coming from the next world. Mashiach ben David, he's the one who has like the keys to the hidden light of the next world. So he's kind of coming from the next world. He's not in the regular system of avoda down here. So in this particular song is focusing on our avoda of this world, so he doesn't have to be mentioned. Hashem comes and finishes it off. And part of that process is going to, once the king down here will have Mashiach ben David, and he'll be the big king, but that's not what this song is focusing on over here. Got it?
Okay. And if Mashiach ben Yosef merits it, will Mashiach ben David still exist afterwards? Like if we...
Yeah, for sure. There has to be Mashiach ben David. There has to be both. There's an internal king and external king.
Okay.
And it's not the merit of Mashiach ben Yosef, it's our merit. If we merit it. If we merit it, he won't die. He's a tzaddik. He's going to do fine. It's just... If he dies, it means Mashiach, like we explained in previous times in this class with these guys, the Mashiach ben David will immediately bring him back to life also when he comes.
Oh, okay.
But in any case, if we don't merit it, so he might not make it. Hopefully we'll merit it. But got it?
Yeah,
okay. Next steps. What we'll do now, I'm going to tell you guys a little, well, we only got 10 minutes. I'm going to tell you a fast little vort. It's not such a little vort, though, unfortunately. But I'm going to try to do it very quickly. Okay? This is a very classic vort from the, I'm not sure, the Brisker of one of the Brisk dynasty. I don't remember exactly who it was right now. But it's a nice, quick little vort over here. It says by the Russia, in the Haggadah, it says by the Russia, Mahu Omer. What does the Russia say? So he says, Ma avodah zos lachem. What is this avodah to you? Lachem, to you and not to him, right? Since he took himself out of the klal, he was kofar beker. And even you too, you should break his teeth. And tell him, leave alolo, to me and not to him. Because if he would have been there, he wouldn't have gone out. So the question is, who is this Rosh? There's a lot of questions over here. I'm not going into all the questions. I'm not sure if I will by the end of this 10-minute speech. But the question I want to focus on at this moment is, who is this Rosh guy? He's a 10-year-old. He's 12. He knows what's going on. Because obviously the Brisker Rav says that it can't be that he's talking about little kid doesn't know what's going on. He's calling him a kofar. Or he's a kofar. It's saying you should come back and smash his teeth. Right? And say, if you would have been there, you wouldn't have gone out. It sounds like it's kids. Like, what's it saying? You understand what I'm saying? What kind of chinuch is this? He asks you a question. He says, what's this to you? And you tell him, if you would have been there, you wouldn't have gone out. That's the chinuch. That's what we should do. We should just, Playing psychological games over here. You guys understand the question? Yeah? It's a funny give and take between them. Yes? David, you with me? David.
Yeah,
You with me, Rav? Good. You with me? Nady, you with me?
Nady had to go, I think.
He had to go. Okay. Alex, you're with me, yeah? She, you're with me? You're good?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Listen carefully. So the Brisker Rav explains like, again, I'm not sure if it's after the Brisker Rav, one of the Brisker Ravs over there, he says like this, that what is really the question of this boy? What is really his question of this son? So he says, what's his language? His language, what is this devoted to you? Ma avodah zos lachem. Remember I told you guys before, what's really the question of the Manish Tanah? We explained to you in the first class, the question of the Manish Tanah really is, what is this to you today? Why today in the year 2020 is this important to us now? Manish Tanah Laila Hazeh. It's very nice. We always remember being this time every day. The actual Gula happened, 2,000 years ago. How many thousand years ago it happened? 3,000 years, whatever it was. So Manish Laila Hazeh right now. Right? This is actually the exact same question of the Rasha. The Rasha is just presenting it. He's saying, I understand. I'm doing this very quickly. I'm skipping a lot of steps. I'm just doing this very quickly over here. The Rasha is saying this, I understand why our fathers are sitting in the base of Mikdash at this time, and he's bringing the Korban Pesach. I understand why our fathers brought a Korban Pesach. Why? Because the Avodah Zorah of Mitzrayim was a sheep. They used to worship the sheep. Like I told you guys before, part of the idea of shechting the sheep was shechting their Avodah Zorah. That was going to represent God's yichud in the world. We're shechting the Avodah Zorah, which is blocking God's oneness from the world. You guys with me? So he's saying, I understand why our fathers brought a sheep to Hashem, right? Because that represented the destruction of Avodah Zorah back then. But today nobody's worshiping the sheep. We're not in Mitzrayim. So why are you today, Dad, bringing the Korban Pesach? That's the question. Ma avodah zos lachem. He understands what it was for our fathers left Mitzrayim, but today, when they're already in the base of Mikdash many years after that, what's it for you today, Dad? That's what he's asking. But since he says lachem, it means you're doing it. I'm not going to do it unless I understand it. What's this for you? That's what it's understanding. It's what's this for you? When the tzaddik, the chacham, he asks the same question, but he says, what does Hashem commanded eschem? The language of eschem is a language which also includes himself also, just a language of respect. Eschem is the lesson of es, has to do with like making yourself tuffle to it. So it's talking in third person. When he says, what's this to you? Chazal means you and not him. You guys understand what I'm saying? I mean, he wouldn't do it if he doesn't understand why to do it. You guys understand? That's the question. So what's the answer? The answer is, Bavur zeh asa Hashem levit tzeitzim Mitzrayim. Okay? Which the Vilna Gaon explains to me like this, just like we just learned a minute ago, this a nice connection between this word and the previous word. Yitzchak himself brought a Korban Pesach. Right? So if Yitzchak himself brought a Korban Pesach, obviously no one's worshiping. He wasn't coming to exclude the sheep worshippers over there. There was no Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, they worshipped the sheep. So therefore they brought a Korban Pesach to shech that. What about Yitzchak? He wasn't in Mitzrayim. He wasn't surrounded by sheep worshippers. What was he doing? You understand the question? So you see that the mitzvahs themselves have eternal significance even outside of the individual reasons why we might place on them in whatever circumstance they happen to come out in. When Hashem tells us to do a mitzvah, it has permanence, which isn't relevant to any specific time. You understand? And even if that a reason that you would put onto it doesn't exist now, it was there beforehand also. It says Avram ate matzah on Pesach. Yitzchak brought a Korban Pesach on Pesach. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yes? So the idea is like this. What does the father answer back? It says, Bavur zeh Hashem li. For the sake of this, Hashem did for me a Mitzrayim. Which, what does Rashi says, I think it's based on Chazal, it says, for the sake of this, means the Korban Pesach, Hashem did for me a Mitzrayim. You think that we brought the Korban Pesach together in Mitzrayim, Hashem took me out of Mitzrayim to bring the Korban Pesach. Not that we left Mitzrayim because they shechted the Korban Pesach. Bavur is up for the sake of this, which means the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, Hashem took me out of Mitzrayim. You understand? Not as opposed to what the Rasha was understanding. He was understanding they shechted the Korban Pesach to get out of Mitzrayim. He's saying for the sake of this, right? For the sake of this, that's why Hashem took me out of Mitzrayim to bring this. Okay? Now listen carefully. We know that, in fact, they did worship the sheep. So what they explain is that what the Brisker, I believe, says is that why is it that the Mitzrayim worship the sheep? Why did they worship a sheep? They worship a lot of things. Why particularly a sheep? So he explains that when Hashem makes the world, when he makes the world, it says Hashem made the world, he looked at the Torah and then made the world. So the idea is, in the Torah it says there has to be a mitzvah of Korban Pesach, right, which is a sheep. So what Hashem did when he was crafting the world, when he was making the world, he knew there was going to be Yetzias Mitzrayim, right? And he knew that they were going to have to bring a Korban Pesach, which had to do with this process. Therefore, when they were first setting in Mitzrayim, he made them decide to worship the sheep. You understand? So that way we would understand the concept of the mitzvah when we do the mitzvah. So the Rosh is asking, why do we today have to bring a Korban Pesach which kills a sheep? There's no more sheep left. We don't have that, right? And so the answer is, we're not bringing a Korban Pesach because they worship the sheep. They worship the sheep because we have to bring the Korban Pesach. So we should understand the idea of the Korban Pesach is bringing God's unity in the world. That's the reason why the Mitzvah worship the sheep. Hashem made the Mitzvah worship the sheep so that we should understand why we bring a Korban Pesach. In fact, if you look at the Mazalos, which are like the consolation of that month, the classic of Avodah Zarah follows the constellations. The constellation of that month is the sheep. So the sheep itself represents breaking of Avodah Zarah. It doesn't make up if anybody's doing it or not. That's not the point. You understand? But it happened to be. So that's what it means. Ba'avur zeh, for the sake of this, for the sake of the Korban Pesach, Hashem created the whole Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's the same idea with eating the matzah at nighttime also. The matzah itself represents the speed of the next day. I don't want to confuse everybody. But that's the idea. You got it? So that's what that breaks his teeth, because he's assuming that we're doing things because of what our fathers did. So he's explaining that the things themselves have their intrinsic value. And if he would have been there, he wouldn't have gone out because he wouldn't understand why we're doing it anyway. Because the idea of the mitzvah is because God tells us, not just because we understand. You understand? There's more details here, but that's the basic idea. That's a 10-minute version, the 7-minute version. Anyway.
Thank you, Rav.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, have a great Shabbos. If anybody wants to stick around for some Az Yashir things, we could do that.
We have something tomorrow or no?
What?
Tomorrow's
Oh,
Thursday.
tomorrow's
We got
Thursday? I'm still off my schedule. I'm just like sitting here in a bubble. Yeah, I thought it was Thursday because here I'm at nighttime on Thursday, giving you guys share at night. Anyway, yes. No, yeah, I'm so sorry. Yes, we'll give you. We have class tomorrow. Well, I'll figure out what it's gonna. Probably tomorrow I'm gonna go through. There's a whole last year I wrote a whole big paper about the Seder itself. The Seder, all the washing the hands, the mask, the whole process over there. So probably I'll try to prepare that for tomorrow. I got to look back at the paper. I don't remember myself.
Sounds good.
Thank
you, Rav.
Thank you, Rav.
Thank you, Rav. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Afternoon.
Thanks. I have a meeting tomorrow. I don't know if I'm able to make it, but
Okay. You
thanks
can get it.
again.
I'll send you all the links in the end. I'll send the links to everybody in the end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
So you can always pick it up whenever it's convenient, if you want.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Have a good
Have a
meeting.
wonderful day.
Good evening. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. David. 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 You. David. You.
Me?
You're the only one left. We finished the class.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to stick around for some Az Yashir? We finished it at 10 o'clock. You want to do some Az Yashir? Karusa? Okay,
Karusa.
awesome. Okay.
I'm just gonna
we're
get
ready.
some.
No problem.
Okay.
Take your time. I'll wait for you.
I heard you
I'm
were
turning off my
headphones
video.
on.
I'm gonna. Okay, whatever. Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. You stuck around yesterday. How many times have you heard Aziz? You've heard of this before at all? Don't hear you. Once I can't hear any.
I was here yesterday.
What?
I was here yesterday.
Okay. Good, excellent, gotcha. Okay, good. So we'll continue on from yesterday, basically. We're going to go back to the Micha Mocha, Boilim Hashem, and we're going to continue on from there. Excellent.
How was the fast, bro?
What?
How was the fast? The fast.
Half a day. I just did half a day.
Half a day.
Yeah, my fasting is not so easy anymore. As I get older, it's harder.
Yes. For sure it is. All right, I'm with you.
Okay. So it goes like this. Micha Mocha Beilim Hashem. Okay. Micha Mocha Neder Bakodesh. Now, what I'd like to suggest over, there's two ways that Hashem runs the world. One way is through his kingship, as we know. Okay. And one way is through his creation. He's the creator. Okay. So there's two Micha Mochas over here. So Micha Mocha Ba'elim Hashem, it's interesting, the word Elim is actually missing a Yud. You see that over there? It should have really had a Yud, a couple of Yuds in there, a little Yud in there, after the Aleph, Elim, or after the Lamed, right? Why is it missing that? So the word Elam, that alludes to this idea, a person who can't speak is called an Elam. Yeah?
Like someone with a mouth, a speech impediment?
That's right. But they can't, no sound comes out. So the idea is, in Elam, they can't speak. So the idea is, it's a remez that when relative to Hashem's strength, the other people, they can't even speak. It's not if you can't even they can't even get their mouth moving. So that's just a hint of this idea. He makes everybody else's strength like an Elam, they can't even talk when you compare it to his strength. You understand? So Micha Mocha B'Elam Hashem, this is speaking to Hashem's kingship, which has to do with Hashem showing, running the world with his power. And then it says, relative to his creation, to being the creator, it says, Micha Mocha Neder Bakodesh. Okay? Micha Mocha Neder Bakodesh. Kodesh, we explained, Kodesh always means to do godliness. So he's on the same time, he's the active power of kingship, but at the same time, he's the creator, at the same time. So now it says, Norat Tehilos, that his kingship, which that's the part that's actively relating to us in terms of giving us our needs and taking care of us, it's called Norat Tehilos, that his praises are beyond what we can comprehend, right? So on the one hand, he did all these good things for us. He split the yam for us. And his praises are beyond comprehension. That's called Norat Tehilos, right? His Noraness is not expressed to us through his ability to make us afraid of him. That's not his Noraness. That's for sure could be there, but he doesn't need that. That would be easy, right? His Noraness is his praises. It's beyond our comprehension. You can't say anything. It's too mind-blowing. You understand? So that's called Noraness. Also, Phyllis, so I saw the Mephoshim explain also that over here, the previous line of the song says, I realized I skipped this line yesterday. I don't think I spoke about this at all. I think I skipped it. No, Nashaf to Baruch Kisam Oyam.
Oh, yeah, the line before.
I think I skipped it. I don't think I went into it at all. I didn't have so much to say, but I skipped it. So it says, Nashaf to Baruch Kisam Oyam. So he blew his breath, his ruach, and he covered them with the water. I mean, they were coming in to run after the Jews, and he covered them up with the water. So Luz Kol first with my Madirim. Now, over here, there's an interesting thing that they're pointing out that it's the same ruach which made a channel for the Jews. Hashem made the channel through his ruach. Right? It says that he uses ruach to make frozen the ground, the water. Can't hear you?
No.
Oh, you're not talking to me. Okay, that's good. Okay, right. So it says the same ruach did two things. On the one hand, the same ruach made a channel for them. At the same time, it blew the water back on the Mitzrim. So that's like a pellet. And we can't understand. It's doing this. It's doing opposite things at the same time. The same ruach. Okay. So now it says, now after the Mitzrim came out, it says it says that there was a miracle that the water came and spit all the Mitzrim back out. When it finished it, when after the whole thing was finished and the Jews were on the shore, Hashem wanted the Jews to see that the Mitzrim were dead. So Hashem made a miracle. He spit the Mitzrim out on the shore to show they were dead. And then it says, Natiti Mincha, he did chesed with them and he buried them. The land swallowed them up. So even after, yeah.
Didn't we realize they were dead because we got all their we saw their swords and chariots, or we saw their bodies? Like
They saw their
mamish.
bodies. They saw their bodies,
Okay.
mamish. Hashem made a special miracle to bring it all back up. Also, they brought this stuff for their wealth, also, but also because also they didn't want them to think that some of them got away on the other side. So Yeshua brought everybody back up. They were all accounted for. You know,
Paro survived.
Machlokas could be.
Oh, Machlokas?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, some say it was Nebuchadnezzar, no? Does people say that? No, it can't be. Can't be
There
that
could
old.
be some kind of Azores or something. It was not Nebuchadnezzar. It says it was the king of Nineveh. Maybe you're talking about that?
Yeah,
The
maybe.
king of Nineveh. Right.
Mhm.
So it could be it was a Gilgal of the shaman to the king of Nineveh. It could be it was himself. Talk about it. I
Okay.
want to get my nobody cares what I say about this. I have no idea. Anyway, but they said the big
I
boys
do,
talk
Rav.
about it.
I do.
Yeah. So it says Natisa. So over here we had his ruach was kind of coming down from Shemayim and fixing up the water. Now this is called his hand. So his hand is coming down and burying them. That means they're already up on the shore. So he's got his power on the water through his ruach, and he's got his hand conceptually comes and Natisim. You bent your hand a little bit, and that caused the land to swallow them up. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's look at this. Nachis de b'chaz de chamzuga alta. Now, it says Nachisa means to say he is like leading them pleasantly. Leshem Noah. Nachisa means he's leading them pleasantly with his chesed, this nation that you redeemed. Nehalta, you should also lead them with your strength to the dwelling of your holiness. Nevei Kachech is the dwelling place of your holiness. The first part is connected to chesed. That's how he's acting towards us. Okay? And Nehalta ba'azcha means to say he should lead them with his strength against the other nations. I mean, the other nations should recognize that he's
Like
using
Amalek?
his strength. What?
Like Amalek?
Well, like what he did over here against the Mitzrayim. One of the
Okay.
reasons why he did Kriyas Yamsuf, one of the reasons, was in order that the Jews should have a moon in him, and the nations of the world should see they shouldn't mess with the Jews because he's going to take them apart. Well, that's
Right,
what you
but when
mean by
you
Amalek.
said-
Amalek didn't get the message.
Right, but when you say Nachisa b'chastacha, when we say that, you said that he's leading us with chesed, right?
Pleasantness. Yeah.
Pleasantness. And
Which
like
is chesed.
this is talking about after the Yam Suf already happened, meaning Mitzrayim are already behind
After
us,
the
no?
Yam Suf happened, it's talking about after the Yam Suf happened to get them into Eretz Yisrael. That's what it's talking about.
Right. So if the Mitzrayim are already behind us, then who is he going to show Ne'elata
No, to the nations of
Ba'azcha?
the world means he showed it now. We're davening. He should continue showing it. That he's going to continue showing it with Nehalta Ba'azcha. You should lead them with your strength to the
Nevei
dwelling
Kachva,
place, your holy dwelling place,
which is
Eretz
Israel.
Yisrael.
Okay.
Right. So that's gonna right. So now we're just explaining that more. Now that's what it says. It says Shamu Amim Yugazun. The nations heard about this whole event and they were terrified. They were shaking. Now we're going to go through 4 different nations. The first one is Achaz Yoshe Plashes. Now Rabbeinu Bechaya says it really means all the nations, and it's just taking the east, west, north, and south. So Plishtim, they were on the west. This is one way to understand it. Why it specifies these 4 nations. The Plishtim lived in the west.
Chil, Achaz, Yoshvei, Pleshes, they're all different they're different nations.
There's going to be Plishtim, there's going to be Edom, there's going to be Moab, and there's going to be Canaan.
Okay, I
These
see.
are
Yeah.
going to be the 4. Okay? So Rabbeinu Bechaya says it represents, it's going around a circle over here. The Plishtim is the west. Az Nivhalu, they had Bahala, they were also again in frantic. I don't know. Alufe Edom, the tribes of Edom, they lived in the south. Ele Moab Yochuzemu Rad, they lived in the east. Okay, the strong ones of Moab. And then it says, Namogu, they melted the Yoshvei Canaan, and that's in the north, says Rabbeinu Bechaya. I'm just quoting what Rabbeinu Bechaya says. Okay, relatively. There's another idea that specifies these 4 nations, because these are 4 nations particularly which had an Inyan with Klal Yisrael in the past.
Indian meaning like a problem?
That's exactly what I mean. It means there was a certain group of Jews who left early. Bnei Ephraim and the Plishtim killed them. So now the Plishtim were terrified because now the big army's coming. Okay? And Edom obviously is connected to Yaakov. There was a group from Ephraim. Ephraim, Menashe, they were the children of Yosef. They had like more of a royal status over there apparently. And they tried to escape early and they got all killed.
Whoa! Before the Yam Suf? And I'm saying
Yeah. They left. They weren't supposed to leave. They left. They ran away. They made it out.
They made it completely out. Where'd they get to? To Plishti? Where is that?
Yeah,
How
the
far is that?
Plishtim killed them.
Where is that? Like how far from Egypt?
It's towards Eretz Yisrael. They're like on the outskirts
Wow,
of Eretz Yisrael.
they're already on the derech.
They were well on the derech. Plishtim is mamish like that's an Eretz Yisrael type of place.
How many? Whoa, I never heard of that.
There's one opinion that says you heard about the there was a miracle that Hashem raised up the dead bones for Yechezkel. We're going to read about it on Pesach. On Pesach, you're going to see on Shabbos, you're going to remember me. On the Shabbos of Pesach, if you look carefully, listen carefully to the Haftorah on Shabbos on Pesach. It's raising up the dead bones. Now, conceptually, it's telling us about how Hashem takes us out of our kever. He's going to give us new life to fight for Him, to be alive for Him. Right? It's amazing. But it was all a vision of Yechezkel. One of the, I think, I'm not confusing something. One of the opinions says that it I might be confusing two things. There's a medrash, I think, that talks about Nebuchadnezzar. When a miracle was done in Nebuchadnezzar, when he had the whole furnace with Azariah
and Michal
and Hananiah.
Yeah.
Michal and Hananiah.
Michal? It's not Michal? Michal?
I don't remember. It could be it is Michal. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassing
I have
myself.
Megillah here.
Megillah?
Yeah. Masechet Megillah talks about it.
Masechus Megillah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, continue. Yeah, okay. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I don't know why I said Michal.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, check it out. I remember there's a beautiful moral about it. He says they represent Chesed and Rachamim. So usually Michal does represent Chesed more. But
Went too far. It should be on Yud Aleph, I think, right?
Okay, I don't remember, but if you were on there. But
okay, yeah. Yeah, it should be somewhere here. Yeah, it should be here. Nebuchadnezzar. Oh. I'm in the area we're talking about. Just can't find it.
yeah, it's over here. It's Daf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph. It says Hananiah, Mishael, like I told you, in Azariah.
Yeah?
It's Yud Aleph Amid Aleph.
Mishael. Yud Aleph. Okay. I was on Yud Aleph base. All right.
Okay. In any case.
Perfect.
So in any case, the bottom line is.
Mishael.
Yeah. So in any case, the bottom line is that I believe there's a measure that says that when there was this miracle happened from the miracle happened with the whole pit of fire over there, the fire furnace that got saved. So Hashem was so happy that they gave their lives that He made a special Tchias Mason.
Wow.
And He brought back to life these people. The Bnei Ephraim that got killed, He brought them back to life. I'm pretty sure the measure says that.
Not those three, not the three people who stood up. Those people died.
Stood up there for sure. They lived. He was so happy. He made a special Tchias Mason in their schus.
Wow.
Of the people that died that left Mitzrayim early. I'm pretty sure it says that. I'm pretty sure it's
wow.
In any case, kind of.
How come no one talks about that? Was it a large number of people?
It says a number. I think it's in Pirkei Eliezer. I think it talks about.
Wow.
I think.
I never heard of that.
I'll try to send you. I'll show you where you can look it up. Since you're sitting in yeshiva all alone, I'll give you something to do.
You need assignment, bro.
Okay. So anyway, now you're looking
forward. Yeah.
Okay. So in any case, that's the issue with the Plishtim. Little side point. As the little Edom, right? Then Edom obviously has some problems with Klal Yisrael. That's it's Yaakov and Esav. It says Eli Moav Yochazei Murad. It says this is the Moav, right? Those are the people that they hired Bilam to curse us, right? So they have their problems, right? They tried to get Bilam to curse us, and they didn't want to give us water coming in. No, that was afterwards. They get Bilam to curse us. They're afraid of us, right? And then Canaan, we're coming to take their land, so they for sure were afraid of us.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what it says. It should fall onto these people. These are going to be the people again that are going to stop us from coming in, potentially. It should fall onto them.
Truth
Okay, what does it
and
mean?
frightening.
What's it? What?
Truth and frighteningness.
No. Ema is a type of fear.
No.
It's like awe-striking. Ema is like a terrifying fear. Ema is something that's like a big fear of something that's like when something is like huge in front of you that's gonna really scare you.
Inevitable death.
I don't know what the word is in English again. It's more than fear.
More than fear. Petrified.
Yeah, call it petrified. I don't know. When there's something very fearsome in front of you and it's like huge, that's what makes Ema. Pachad is the fear of the unknown. That's different. That's called like Pachad Belelos. The Malbim explains this.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Okay,
we have
so that's the difference.
Eurosaromamus, that's like Eurosaromamus types of thing. That's called Ema.
So they're going to be afraid of what's in front of them and what's unknown.
They should both
It's
these
like a
types
double.
of fears should be on them. They don't know if we're coming
It's
to get
nuts.
them. They should just be terrified.
It's a
Right.
crazy kind of fear.
Yeah, so both these types are pretty bad. They should have both. We're wishing they should have both. So they don't bother us. They should stay away from us. Right?
Mm-hmm.
With the greatness of your forearm, they should be quiet like stone. Means they don't have anything to say. They're just going to be quiet. They're going to be afraid to move like stones.
Super
like
passive.
Stones.
They're going to be super passive.
Super passive. Just let the Jews go where they want to go. And Ad Yavurimcha Hashem. Ad Yavurim Zukanis. And over here it says a double Ad Yavur. So Chazal explained they had to pass over two rivers to get to Eretz Yisrael. Something called the Nachle Arnon, I believe, and there's something called the Jordan River. And over here it says Amzu Kanisa, not Amzu Ga'alta, because now it's a little Nevuah after Matan Torah. I mean, they're speaking now about when they come into Eretz Yisrael, by the time they come in, now they're going to be Kanisa, means the nation that you acquired. Before a few psukim before that, it says Amzu Ga'alta. You didn't acquire them yet. You redeemed them. You didn't acquire them yet. He's going to acquire them in Matan Torah. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it change. Because now it's speaking about after Matan Torah actually going in, they're already going to be acquired to him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tivi'emu v'tita'emu, you should bring them and you should implant them in the Bahar Nachal Asecha, in the mountain
Mount
of your
pleasantness.
Nachal Asecha means your Yerusha, an inheritance.
Ah.
So they should be planted. They shouldn't have to go to Golas. Mechon l'shiftecha, which is the place that you sit. Now, Mechon l'shiftecha, it means Har Nachal Asecha. That's an allusion to the Beis Hamikdash Lamata. That's connected the Beis Hamikdash Lamala, which is the place where Hashem sits up in Shemayim, which Hashem made. That's what it says to Har Nachal Asecha Mechon l'shiftecha Pa'alta Hashem, that you made. Hashem was Pol. He made this dwelling place for himself up in Shemayim. That's the Beis Din Shalmala, the Beis Hamikdash Shalmala. It says Mikdash Hashem Yudkiv Adni. That's the Beis Din Shalmata. Adni is always Hashem's kingship down in this land, in the lower world, which you made with your hands. Konadu Yadecha. You understand? So it's talking about the place of, yes, that's what it's saying. We should bring us into the place of the Beis Hamikdash. We should get over there. Right, and the people shouldn't disturb us. Got it? Which is going to be the connection between the Shemaim and the Aretz. Then Hashem Yimlok L'Lamvad. There you go. Hashem should be the king. He should reveal his kingship. His kingship is coming to bring us out. The nation should be afraid of his kingship, and his kingship should continue being revealed forever. Now it says, if a person says this song, it says with Kavana, it says Hashem actually forgives them for all their sins. Can you imagine that?
Wow. But we say that also with Ashrei, and like, what does that mean? Like,
no, we don't. That's a different thing. Ashrei,
that's Olam Haba.
Ashrei 3 times there, the proper kavanah is called Ben Olam Haba. It says over here, if a person says this was proper kavanah, is excited about it, like when they went out, their mom is excited about it.
And Hashem's gonna.
He says Hashem forgives their sins.
Wow.
Now, why would Hashem? That's what it says. It says he's mochalam deravonos. Now, why? What's the connection? I don't know for sure. But what?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna offer, but you could say it.
Please, no, please. You offer first. Go ahead.
I'm thinking that maybe it's because when we were taken out, it's like it was such a moment of like becoming one with Hashem that like even the Jews that like were doing bad things during the times of being in Mitzrayim, Hashem kind of forgot about that also then,
It's a nice thought. I like it. Okay. I'll give you a different idea. I was thinking a different line a little bit. This is based on what I told you yesterday. I don't know if you were here yesterday, but I was explaining that just remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim gives a certain quality of like connecting to the Yetzirah itself. And we spoke about that. When you speak about Yetzias Mitzrayim, right? Now, at this time, the Jewish people actually became like a newborn. It says the Kriyas Yamsuf was actually like the new birth of the nation. The channels of the Yam, that was like the birthing channel that they were going through. They were becoming a new creation. So it could be that there was a certain quality of forgiveness that they got, because whenever you become a new creation, right, you get forgiveness. That's why it says a husband and wife, on their wedding day, they also get forgiven.
I like that.
Right? So it could be that when a person's really excited about this, that Hashem is like there and he's doing all these miracles for him, he's going to act like this for him, that Hashem kind of forgives him because he's connecting that same power that happened back then a little bit. Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That's what Chazal for sure say. And they also say that if a person connects to this song properly and sings it now, they'll be zochah to sing it the most Mashiach also. That's what it says.
That's sweet.
Those two different things.
That's nice.
Got it?
I like it.
That's the song. Yeah. There's an interesting idea. If you look over here, one second, let me see if it's here. Go down another. If you look in there, you're in a sitter over there.
Hmm.
So the pasuk goes on. The Torah goes on. It says, "Kivasus parok ropo uparsha biyam, v'yashev Hashem aleim es me'yam, uvnei Yisrael alchu b'yabasha b'toch hayam." It says, Klal Yisrael went in the yabasha b'toch hayam. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's too much. It's good. Got
Wait,
it?
Rav, is that that's already not part of Oz Yashir, no?
That's right. Rabbeinu Bechaya says, even though the next pasuk also is in the official samach. I think if you look at it in the Torah, there's a samach after the next pasuk. But Rabbeinu Bechaya says the pasuk, the last verse of the song itself, is Hashem Yimloch Lemva. That's 18 psukim connected life. Chai is 18. So he says that's the end of the song. It's a machlok. It's a huge machlokus. It's not like
but we say it.
Decide over here. What?
But we say it. We
for sure say it. That's for sure. Is it part of the song or kind of a recap of the whole thing? That's a machlokus it would seem.
Uh-huh.
The way it actually looks like written in the Chumash, it looks like it's part of the song. However, what the words actually say, it sounds like it's a recap of the song. And Rabbeinu Bechai, at least, again, it's a machlokus. So he says that. People say other things. It's one of those things up for grabs. Gotta know. Got it?
Got it, Rav. Appreciate it.
Okay, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll have the Seder thing worked out.
Bezrat Hashem. Tomorrow, I basically, David Abginisas? You don't know? Okay, so basically he left it. He's in America, and he left his suitcase in a bus on the way to leaving, and he has like a bunch of stuff in there. And he wanted me to go. I went the other day, and they were closed. They were only open till 2:30, from 8:30 to 2:30.
Where?
Tachana Markazit, Yerushalayim.
Wow. Be safe. You don't want to be too exposed out there.
Right. I was already around town, so I went to see it, and they were like, oh, like I went all the way there, and they were like, oh, you're closed. So I was already there, and I was like already committed to like getting him his bag back, and he has a lot of valuables in there, so I want to try and get it back. So we'll be in touch about tomorrow morning, yeah.
Oh, if you can't do it, we'll do it whenever it'll be.
It
could be also, I spoke to the yeshiva. They're going to let me know. It could be I could do it with you later in the afternoon also, because now it's already going to be like the official Bein Zmanim time. So it could be sometimes going to open up, but I have to wait till next week to find out what the rabbis want to do. Some rabbis are going to continue, some aren't going to. So if I have like an open space, it could be I could, not like in the afternoon.
All right.
We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Oh, you know what? So let's not, okay, so we'll be in touch tomorrow. You let me know. Okay. Be in touch tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate it. Have a great
My pleasure.
night.
You too.